stands out about Baylor?
Their wings specifically, when you look at Carr, Yusefu, Skillings, they've got big wings. They get out in transition. Those guys in space are really effective, attacking the paint, attacking the basket, making plays, making shots. They're a team offensively that, they're really hard to account for. They've got a lot of weapons, and then probably more than anything, they're an elite offensive rebounding team. They're always known for going with tremendous effort with their bigs, but now they've got guards and big wings that are attacking the board. So they're a team with a mentality that they're attacking you offensively off the dribble, they're attacking you on the glass, and you have to make sure that you get back, you get your defense set, and that's the battle you're trying to win. And then on the other end, they're mixing up. They'll start a lot of games in zone and then come back to it at some point as well. So you have to maintain with an attacking mentality to continue to go at them and not allow, zone and different things they do defensively to put you on your heels.
Offensive rebounding teams like that, how do you balance making sure you are steady on the defensive glass while also trying to take advantage of any transition opportunities that might afford?
Yeah, I think when you're back in transition, when you sprint back, certainly you're able to, hopefully guard the basketball. We want to have a collision. We want to keep the ball in front of us, and now you don't end up in rotation, which puts them in an advantage rebounding situation where you have to rotate, and now maybe you have a guard on big, and they have, a good opportunity to go to the offensive boards. And then for us, the same thing on the other end. We want to be great on the offensive glass. It's important for us also, but it's a multiple effort play. We defined at the beginning of the year, as we've talked to our team, the most important dynamic for our team game in and game out is being great on the offensive boards while also being great at getting our defense set. And that's a multiple effort communication, that's an elite effort play. That play and that possession is ultimately as important as any dynamic of the game for us to be successful.
You made the Tyrus McGee comp with Jamarian, which is high praise, especially offensively. But what has Jamarian done? A, can you elaborate on that? But B, what has he done on the defensive end to continue to get better?
I think what I recall, about Tyrus is like his ability when he would come into the game, you would feel that energy and that gravity and know that at any point in time that ball hits his hands, you feel like, I know that one year, I think his last year was like 47.4. He shot from three in hard shots. And I think what you saw from Bateman is when we were not at our best offensively, he came in and gave us that same surge of energy and banged two in a row and got the crowd into it and got the energy going. And so that was very representative of what Tyrus did when he was here, and it's high praise because I hold Tyrus in very high regard. Defensively with Bateman, he's got a mentality and a mindset, a look in his eye, a determination to get stops, wants to do the best he can for his team, and being intentional on the defensive end. So he's got just a level of focus that's really uncommon for freshmen on both sides. And we saw the other night how impactful that was and the opportunities he had, how much it contributed to winning.
That second one he made in transition, the spot, I think he was moving as he shot it. But did that feel like a light on kind of moment for him to be able to make that shot in that moment?
Yeah, I mean, look, he's a guy that's he's got a very strong mindset and a very tremendous work ethic. So, those opportunities are things he's prepared for. He's played in high-level games. Certainly when you get into Big 12 play, the stakes are as high as they can be. And so for him to be able to do that on that stage in that environment, it says a lot about the work he's done. It says a lot about confidence his teammates have because we were looking for him. And just proud that he continues to have that aggressive mindset to always be on the hunt.
How excited is this group to go on the road and get the opportunity to play Bill in a Big 12 environment like Baylor?
Yeah, we've only had one true road game up to this point, and so I think when you go on the road, you've got to have a mindset and mentality to get to the next play, even more so at home. You've got to play like there's no officials out there. You've got to play like you're going to dictate on both ends of the basketball the way that the game needs to go. And it's really important that you pour into one another because you have that feeling when you're on the road that it's your group against everybody else. You're playing against all these other potential distractions, and what your job is to keep focus on giving your best effort and energy each possession. The last opportunity we had, I thought we were terrific that way, but it's going to take tremendous resolve and mental focus to do that possession after possession, again, as we go into a really tough road environment.
How would you describe the progress that he's made growing more comfortable with the tempo and the physicality of the American game, and that has warranted the growing role that he's had since the start of the year?
Yeah, he's done a great job in his skill workouts outside of practice with Coach Green in terms of just the tempo, the physicality, the force he needs to play with, the mindset and mentality that's carried over to practice, and then from practice it carries over to the game. He has a great motor, and it's about keeping that motor going at all times. He's a very physical player, around the rim, good finisher, a guy that has a physical force defensively, and then somebody that can be a menace on the offensive glass and do a great job blocking out. So he's worked. He's continued to improve. He's got great basketball in front of him. He needs to keep his head down and continue to work because opportunities will keep presenting himself, and we're going to continue to believe in him and count on him and trust him to come through for us.
On Friday night, you spoke about Milan's improvement on the defensive side. Where does that kind of credit go from, and I guess how much has he improved over his time with you guys?
Well, I think where he's at right now is that he knows how important it is, and he takes tremendous pride in being a two-way player, not somebody that, as great as we can talk about the things that he's doing offensively, I think there's a sense of pride that rebounding and defending he knows are important, and he takes a lot of pride in those as well. A lot of times our opponent's going to come out and feel like he might be the guy that you can go at or you can put in space, and then what happens is when he does an unbelievable job guarding the dribble, being mentally tough, keeping his body in front and containing the dribble, and the other team isn't to be successful, now that has a mental effect. It gives our guys confidence. It gives him more confidence on the other end of the floor. So I think what he's learned and what he's developed over time is understanding that playing hard on defense and rebounding effectively can fuel his offensive confidence even greater. And I think you're seeing both of those because there's been times in games where a big defensive player or a big rebound sets up something really great for him offensively. So I think it's really a credit to him how he keeps working, the work he's done on his body physically, the pride that he has, but more so that he's a winner and a competitor and knows how important that is for our team to be successful.
Athletically, how much better is he moving laterally or even just strength-wise compared to when he enrolled with you guys as a freshman?
Yeah, he's moving really well. I mean, I think, he anticipates well. He's intelligent. He works hard to beat you to a spot and understand also knowing personnel strengths. Do you drive it left? Do you drive it right? Are you a three-point shooter? What are the strengths? And what does he need to take away? So I think it's all those intentional choices that he makes that puts him in position to be successful even before the other player is trying to attack.
With Milan, when he's shooting, like an hour 15 before the game, how much of a say does your staff have in what that warm-up looks like?
Look, Milan's, he's developed a routine over time, right? And that routine has worked for him and it's continued to be successful. So I think as coaches, there's always the right blend of, when you need to give somebody some feedback or some suggestions that could be beneficial. And then there's such a thing as a guy who's got a proven routine that works for him and a way he goes about it, and just continuing to challenge him, to be the best in that routine. Take game shots at game speed, but in terms of, what that needs to look like and how he needs to go about it, I think he's certainly someone that, has put that time in and developed that plan and what works for him, and we continue to want him to lean into what's always worked for him.
How do you scout a mid-season addition that's only played one game?
Yeah, I mean, to me, at the end of the day, it's no different than any other opportunity. We don't focus on the next team until we get ready to play them. And so, today was our first opportunity that we bring in some information on our opponent. We don't treat that any different than what we treated information for our last game or what we will our next game. It's something that I think on their end that they have to figure out how it fits into their group. For us, we're more consumed with what we need to do to be at our best and, maybe the things that they do well that we think we can offset a little bit to put in our favor.
In what ways does Dom benefit from the presence of Blake Buchanan?
Well, I think for both guys, they're tremendous workers. Blake, you know, I mean, I think Blake could be up there amongst all guys in college basketball in terms of winning plays possession after possession. And so I'll always believe when you have a guy that does that and you have that visual image that you can watch, you can see, you can learn from, it helps elevate other guys. And I think for Blake, he's so elite at making so many plays that I think for Dom, it also puts him in position to see that and do that as well. And I think those two guys have been a great strength for one another. I think that they take tremendous pride when Blake goes out that Dom's going to step up, and then vice versa. So I think they've both elevated one another. Obviously, they compete against each other in practice. They work out against each other. They work out with each other. And so they're both winners, and I think that as we've seen both of them improve through the course of the season, I think they continue to challenge and elevate each other at the same time.
Which I think back to the summer, you talked about you guys were in Darkly, you tried to get Tim and Lipsy to play like you did his sophomore year. How good has he been for you guys this year? How do you quantify how impactful he's been for your program this season?
Yeah, Taman's been tremendous, and I think like his ability to command our team, to make plays, to be tough with the basketball, to live in the paint, to continue to stack up assists while not putting us at any deficit. Shooting the basketball, we're seeing him shoot it great every single day. We know that in the games that's going to come around. He shot it fine, but he's going to shoot it better. And so I just think for Taman, there's so much experience, so much knowledge, so much competitiveness, and then so much talent that all those things are kind of rising to the top right now. And it's a credit to him and how he's continued to work. And I think last year, obviously, a lot of injuries, a lot of adversity, a lot of challenges. And now, he's the player that we knew he could be. I mean, there's nobody we'd rather have leading our team and program than Taman Lipsy. And anytime he has the basketball or anytime where he's hustling to make a play when he doesn't have the ball, whether it's a steal, a loose ball, a rebound, he's elevating our team in so many ways.